Greetings and welcome to the channel. This is Ron from tarotofthetwinsun. Welcome to my Cancerians out there. This is a reading for the month of November 2022. We should do a precursor, a bit of astrological prognosis for the month as well. We shall be doing the Great Mirror 9-card spread, and I'll be using a digital format for this particular reading. Yeah, just trying to switch it up just a little bit, temporarily. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, with the main ruler of Cancer, with a tight conjunction, the moon conjunct Saturn in Aquarius here, there is an interesting dynamic that occurs that has to do with the stirring up of a lot of intensity, I would say. It has to do with deep transformational change, okay? To develop truths, to develop a way of thinking. This has to do with transformation that occurs in distant lands, okay? The transformation of societies, of societal truths, ways of thinking, philosophical modes of thinking, okay? Aquarius is also a futuristic energy. It has to do with innovation of collectives. Okay, how to bring innovative ways of thinking, feeling, or perhaps structures that have to do with collective idealizations, the progress of human evolution, the progress of society. Okay, these are all themes of Aquarius, and because of a tight conjunction with Moon and Saturn, okay, at least in a behavioralistic way, or in terms of behavior, a lot of emotions are they're very limited. Okay, with Moon and Saturn working their tight conjunction, there's a limited sort of capacity for society to do the right thing, for humans to do the right thing, for humans to feel the inner world, okay, and to have that resonate with the exterior, with the way things operate in terms of commerce or society. We're already seeing this in terms of a transformation of a way of thinking and doing things, and philosophically, a transformation of how we value or how we find truth, okay. This is all coming to head too with this square with Cancer's 11th as well as 5th houses, okay? So there's a need to sort of come up with a way to be financially independent, to also be financially, or at least in terms of goals or dreams, to come up with a way to become stabilized, okay? So the inner realm, okay, the futuristic self, let's call it, is under duress. It's coming under duress from the collective, but also from relationships that are outside. Okay, with this stellium, very intense stellium of the 5th house, your 5th house, in Scorpio, with Venus, Mercury, Sun, and the South Node, it's important to somewhat avoid relationships. Not to totally avoid them, but to be careful of things that seem light in nature when it comes to romantic relationships, when it comes to also relationships with children, or your relationship to others in general. There is a need for independence, financial and romantic in nature, that is coming up to square with your own deep intensities that may be different or maybe futuristic in design. Furthermore, with this stellium in Scorpio, lots of transformation is being pointed to, and this comes to head with a world or society that is very much tied to this retrograde Uranus energy conjunct the North Node in Taurus. Now, I've been talking about this for at least 2 months now. Taurus is not happy, and because it's in the your 11th house, Taurus is very unstabilizing when it comes to your visions, your dreams, or perhaps the collective visions that you share with others in terms of the progression of humanity towards some sort of spiritual aim. Okay, and it's very interesting because currently it's not an easy time to also define your actions when it comes to the spiritual progression in the 12th house. Okay, 12th house is usually indicative of dreams, and there's something about Cancer's 12th house that is activating Gemini, Mars and Gemini in retrograde. Okay, coming to head with your 10th house with the square squaring up with Jupiter in retrograde and Neptune in retrograde in Pisces. Okay, so there's a lot of difficulty in actually coming up with trying to see the reality of things. Okay, now when it comes to the blessings and the boons of this time, is that you can actually find a way to find certain other people, okay, that will help you transform in terms of this 10th, 7th, and 10th house energy. Okay, so what's happening here is with these two trines, you will be able to find luck when it comes to a dream becoming reality, when it comes to also its relation to somebody else, somebody in terms of your 7th house, okay, that is activated through Pluto. Okay, so if you're dealing with any relationships, close relationships, or people that you care about, and they're going through change, it's because they're preparing themselves for essentially the next wave. Okay, the next wave in terms of either a spiritual realization of some form of reality or some form of karma that needs to be addressed and understood and sort of pushed forward, especially when it comes to your sense of work, relationships and work. Okay, how they work out essentially will provide a hidden blessing or some sort of way to pierce through the veil or the collective sort of dark magic that's going on out there. It's very difficult to find bearing, okay, with all these squares. Now, two things. There are stelliums both in your 5th and 10th houses, okay? So there needs to be some sort of way to transform into a creative realization, okay? That has to do with essentially your work, your way of dealing with reality, okay, which is opposite, excuse me, the 4th house, which is untouched right now, thankfully. So we could say that there is a type of there's a type of path that you may be trying to find that is deep and mysterious in nature, that comes in a time of great change that is occurring collectively in cultural consciousness or in terms of society, in terms of bringing forward a new earth, okay, that is going to point to desires of stability that are not being attained. One way to do the right thing is essentially to put action, okay, not into just one reality but two, okay, and your friends or your significant others will help you do this. Be careful of lightness when it comes to play or when it comes to romance. It's gonna have some sort of undertone that might trigger your path towards transformation of culture, of something like this. Culture. Okay, now that's the best I can do for the month of November. We're gonna move into now the 9-card spread known as the Great Mirror. I'm gonna do this 4 times. Okay. Now, the Great Mirror is basically a tool devised by the Order of the Twin Sun in order to see particular karmas that may exist between Cancer and a significant other. Okay. So we have here the Great Mirror. This is Cancer side right here. Here we have Justice, as well as the World, as well as the Page of Wands. Okay, and we also have on the opposite, whomever you may be dealing with in terms of karma, there's the Tower, the Ace of Swords, as well as the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so from the get-go, there is a need to bring forward on a deeper level proper barriers. Okay, you're dealing here with a way of instrumentalizing yourself, your soul's energy, your core, and bringing forward the Nine of Wands. Okay, because of the Page of Wands has one wand here, and there's the Eight of Wands. And the idea here is to find the right intuitive information in order to do the right thing. This is about building intuition. This is about creating deep resonance with the proper path, okay? And also to protect your domain, to understand and how to understand others and how to parlay with others, how to deal with others in terms of negotiation on a soul level, okay? You're dealing with someone here that activates the seventh house through Capricorn's energy. We have here the Four of Pentacles, 1 foot on each pentacle here with someone sitting, a pentacle on the crown, as well a pentacle within the grasp of the sitter. This is a patriarch or a matriarch of some sort, but it's endowed with Capricorn's energy, okay, so 10th house energy. The thing is that there is a type of rigidity, a structure or an organization about this connection that has to do with essentially someone who is extremely conservative. You're dealing with someone who's extremely conservative with their property, with their time, their energy, their resources, how they manage and deal with things. There's a practical application of what they do, but I think you're more within this connection, a poet or a musician, someone who can actually wield the rod's energy, okay, wield the wand's energy, the fire and the dharmic quality of this type of connection, and deal with someone who has this harsh realism to them, okay. But in that respect, they are practical, and what is actually being activated in all of this is Jupiter's energy, okay, here with the Eight of Wands. That usually has to do with meeting someone in order to celebrate some form of mutual respect, okay, and that's the takeaway from this. There's a type of mutual respect that comes through this connection that's being built over this lifetime. Currently, and what's going on consciously is what emerges is this Aquarius energy, okay? And because of what Aquarius is doing for you in particular, there could be some sort of depth or complexity that has to do with living two different worlds, one being of the emotional realm in tight conjunction with the Saturnian realm, okay? So the moon's realm, Lunarian as well as Saturnian. And there certainly is some form of vision, okay, vision work that's going on between you two on a conscious level, okay, through Aquarian energy. And because of such, it divides Aquarius in two different realms, one being in romance, the other being in sort of this unconditionality, one being a condition, the other being an unconditionality. And it's triggering a very interesting connection that is sensual yet it is distant, sensual yet distant, okay, meaning it is pleasing but is also pleasing because it is distant, because of this distance, okay, because with Aquarius energy and Saturn and Uranus as well as the sun's energy here behind the Aquarian, there is some form of deep transformational change that is occurring between both of you on a conscious level. It's really necessary for you to embody the seventh house, embody Libra's energy, to find the sort of truth and to balance out things with justice, the justice card, major arcana on your side. Tower is on their side, okay? Now it's interesting because what can be weighed here are two different ways of being. Okay, both in the falling sort of post-lapsarian way of seeing things of two people falling out of a tower. Okay, that is being it has to do with the sort of humbling process of letting go, of letting things go. You could be dealing with someone who is in general coming under the duress of their own personal tower moment. Okay, this can be some form of collapse, could be some sort of loss of power, some sort of ego death. Okay, this is all very interesting stuff considering Saturn as well as Pluto, Uranus. I mean, there is harmony between Venus's energy and those two together. When it comes to the conscious level of this, there's an awareness that is coming between both of you that has to do with essentially not reaching out to each other and coming up with ways of seeing things, vision work, as I've mentioned. Okay, because the Tower is also here, it could be some form of collapse. This person could be a major player in terms of the way things are normally done in terms of society. And because the Tower is here, there's a sort of jolt, some sort of jolt that comes from the external world and brings forward deep and irrevocable change. But because Aquarius is here, there certainly is a great deal of independence that is needed in this type of connection on a conscious level, not to reach out and to become balanced, become harmonized in some sort of way, and weigh out the sort of motifs or the motivations that are playing out. In terms of karma, also, you have a great role in balancing out this person. There's something about the way they do things that is extremely rigid. You bring forward the sort of truth to them, and they look to that. They try to find that through you. The eclipse season that is occurring in late October will be affecting this connection, and what is culminating is a sense of departure, okay, wherein the Fool or the Page of Wands walks upon the path of the Eight of Cups during the new moon cycle. So there is a leaving behind of a lot of emotions, and to be frank, this is a very good thing. It is a Saturnian move, okay, meaning it becomes a dry spell. There's something about the new moon that has to do with leaving the path of cups behind, okay, the path of happiness, but also of sorrow, and leaving all of that behind in order to find truth. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Truth in all of this type of this type of fallout. Okay, that may be occurring, and this is influenced by the World card, Major Arcana. I think there's a new way of doing things in terms of the path, in terms of transformation, and coming up with a way to become really privy to essentially what is going on in terms of time, power, or the ability to point to what truly matters. Okay. This has to do with the transformation and the coming forward of new worlds of possibility, okay, new timelines, and essentially bringing forward a sense of truth, okay, by walking the path, by letting go of something in this eclipse season. Ultimately, what I see here is the power within the mirror, the power to come up with the intuitive decision to do the right thing. Both of you will do this in order to leave the path of sorrow and the path of expectation behind, in order to become privy to Aquarian energy, okay, through the Hanged Man, and have this type of vision work, okay, that is distant, but it has to do with the becoming the exemplar, becoming the truth bearer, the truth wielder, and essentially encompassing any transformations that need to occur by doing the proper thing, by watching what unfolds as opposed to living it. And it's very interesting because what is being produced here is a sense of justice that comes at the right time, that comes through eclipse season, and that brings forward the sense of reality, grounding. The irony is that because we have the new Earth, it's based on a lot of intellectual distancing, a lot of letting go, and essentially a lot of shedding through the Hanged Man's energy. This process is essentially a way to purify. There's a lot of purification energy in this reading in particular, and I like that. there's also the great strength on your end to do the right thing, to become balanced, to find the right path that has to do with balancing out yourself and essentially leading through example, okay, so that they may reflect the same energy, okay. It's very interesting, but on a super mundane level, I would see this as you're dealing with people who are losing their grip on reality or their grip on financial stability in some way, shape, or form. And because of such, they lack the peace of mind, and you can bring that to them in some way. That is the best I can do. I do wish you well. Please take care now. Thank you. Bye bye.